100%. Sorry, I might
Okay.
have a few tears, but I think it was a little bit of everything. I just got to a point where I was just so exhausted. I didn't have the capacity to teach anymore.
Annie, good morning. Thank you so much for coming through to Voices Unfiltered.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for accepting the invite.
Sure, anytime.
How are you really doing?
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, good, good. Getting there. Yeah. Better than last year.
better than last year.
Yeah, much better than last year. Yeah.
We'll get into
Yes.
to a bit of last year,
Yes.
and I wanted to gently go back a little bit, and because often what we do as adults is affected in our childhood growing up. And is that okay if we talk a little bit about that growing
Sure.
up? And um, what was your childhood like? Your first feeling that comes up when I say your childhood? What kind of home did you grow up in? Was it emotional? Was it material? Was it affectionate?
I would definitely say it was a loving home, affectionate, but it was also a broken home. My parents split when I was roughly about 5 or 6 years old. Um, so yeah, I didn't have my dad present all the time. So my mom was a single mom, um, that managed to handle everything really well. When I look back at it now, I don't know how she did it. Like, honestly, I don't know how she did it. We would see my dad every second weekend. But obviously, as you grow up, you make friends and you go out over weekends,
Yeah.
and that time spending with him got less. Um, but other than that, I mean, both my parents um, were super caring and loved us
Mm.
and managed to give us everything that we needed. Um, we obviously went through seasons of not being financially very stable. Um, but I think if I look back at it now, I never really realized it because we had everything we needed. Um, and yeah, so home wise, it was good. Um, then my mom actually met my stepdad, and he became part of our lives. He never lived with us for a few years, but he kind of stepped in to that father role.
Yeah.
And as we got older, also realized just how amazing he is. It wasn't a lot of fun having, him present, and especially with me having tomato sauce or food with my tomato sauce or the other way around. But he would always do things like that. And, as a little one, you kind of like say, but it's just tomato sauce. It's not the end of the world. And
Yeah.
he would like freak out. But I see the benefit of it now. I see the benefit of him being strict and stepping into that dad role that we needed. We definitely needed a dad in the house. So yeah, busy childhood, did lots of sports, super active, tomboy, climbing on things, all of my kisses everywhere. So eventually my mom decided to enroll me in gymnastics. So then between having to train twice a day, going to school, having a full-time job, and still having to drive my sister around, she managed to sort us
Wow.
out. Yeah.
Wow.
So amazing
That is
woman.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
She's
you
got quite a
don't,
story.
yes. No, look, she's a super mom. Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And you as a child, I mean, were you a sensitive child? Were you a driven child?
Definitely sensitive. Um, yeah, I was sensitive, but hyperactive on my own. Um, I would say driven, motivated. So I was actually diagnosed with ADHD from a very young age, obviously, and so that's why my mom also enrolled me in gymnastics. And yeah, I feel like that kind of helped because it was my home away from home, and it taught me quite a lot, discipline and hard work, resilience, but I made some good friends, and it was lonely when I wasn't at the gym. Not very sociable for a sociable person. I wasn't very sociable. I enjoyed being on my own, but when I was with the friends at the gym, it was like family.
It was family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sensitive. Some would say too sensitive. I would say
Really.
yes. Yeah. Um, I was a goody two shoes.
Right. Yeah.
So I never wanted to do anything wrong. Always wanted to be in people's good books. Um, always wanted to help. Yeah. So I believe it was it's definitely a strength, but some would say a pushover,
Mm.
and it led to a lot of issues as I grew up. So especially in today's day, um, it's difficult. It's difficult when you are caring and compassionate and a people's pleaser. You struggle to put boundaries, lay boundaries, and in the end, I can't tell people, okay, no, don't do that, or I can't stand up for myself. So I would rather break myself down and burn myself out just to make sure that everybody else is okay. And so, yes, later on, we will see where that got me um, throughout my
Sure.
life. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah. Being a yes man, as they say.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Being a yes man.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you have sisters or siblings or?
I do. I have an older sister,
Yeah.
and then we have a half sister. So my dad got remarried and they had a girl. And so, yeah, we have half sisters. And then I have a lot of step siblings, if we
Right.
can say that.
Yeah.
So, but pretty much just my sister and I.
At one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And looking at your mom, I want to say not being there, but not being there because of the extended responsibilities. The emotions, I mean, how was that handled at home? Was it simply ignored or was it addressed? Because you just had your older sister, right? Did she kind of maybe step in a little bit to help? Yeah.
yeah, I think we were very close. So I remember my mom being there, but not, yeah. She was busy, but I mean, she was still there. And my sister and I, obviously, we fought a lot, as you do, siblings growing up. I looked up to her. She had style. She's beautiful. And here I am, the little black little sheep there, wanting to steal her clothing. And so I looked up to her, but I can, like, the memory that pops into my head is that in our garden, we would pretend to be superstars, and I don't know if you've seen the Lizzie McGuire movie where she and her, what is it, Italian lady that looks the same as her, and they sang that this is what dreams are made of. And 7 o'clock at night, my sister and I would pump it up, and we would sing outside, and it was amazing. Like, we had so much fun together, and we still up to this day have such a strong bond. And throughout the years, there were um, seasons as well where my mom wasn't present, and my sister and I kind of had to just be there for one another and support one another. And yeah, so I'm grateful for her, and I'm grateful for the fact that my whole family, we get along.
Mhm.
And we are all kind of the same. But my sister is a bit of a, she's definitely the protective one. Like you don't mess with her friends and her family, and
No.
she'll make it known. Yes, very verbal. Um, but I needed somebody like that in my life. I needed that because that was the part I was lacking. So very grateful for her.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's often the role that they play. Hey,
Yes.
the older child or the oldest child normally steps in a little bit
Yeah.
to help out.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of alluded to it just now that being a child and the things that you've been through from ADHD to being sensitive, then somehow grooms you into the adult you become.
Yeah.
And before Anishka became this coach slash HYROX athlete, CrossFit
Oh.
superstar, you were a school teacher.
Yes.
Why teaching?
Oh, I love kids. Absolutely love kids. And I have actually been involved with working with kids since I matriculated in 2010. So I started coaching gymnastics where I used to train. I coached gymnastics for about a year and a half. And then I au paired overseas, then came back, then went back into coaching gymnastics. And then when I met my husband, his dad actually told me about Montessori because I was also in a place where I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't want to coach anymore, but I didn't want to be in an office job. I could never work in corporate, and I was stuck. And he actually told me about Montessori, and I've never heard of it before then. And then I researched and I looked into it, and I fell in love with the method. I fell in love with the fact that, they had, freedom within boundaries, and it's very physical, and you don't have to sit behind a desk, and it's not admin related.
Mhm.
It was very creative, and I love being creative. And so I eventually did my qualification, and then started teaching at Nature's Way Montessori in 2017. And I taught up until 2023, end of 2023. So I did seven years that I taught, and it was the ages from 1.5 to 6 years old. And absolutely loved it. It's a lot. It was quite draining, and it took a lot from me, but in the same sense, like I don't know, I love being around kids because they are so honest, and they real and raw and loving, and you know it was just, and also they can't really talk back. So, well,
Oh,
to
well,
some extent, some of
well,
them couldn't talk though. But no, I think I could I could be a child. I could relive my childhood. I could be funny. I could sing. I could dance. I can be silly, and there's no judgment. I think that's the biggest thing. There was no judgment, and you can just be yourself, and they love you. They absolutely love you, and there's no purer love, like more pure love than a child and a dog. But yeah,
yeah.
they're kind of roughly the same.
Well, let's say
That's
if you want loyalty, buy a
it.
dog.
Exactly. And if
Buy a
you
dog.
want honesty, have a
Have a
child.
child. Have a child.
Ah,
And I mean, you're a part of Montessori. It's not mainstream schooling, if you want to call it that.
not at all.
Do you think there's a need for more of this type of schools in South Africa or around the world, which allow little human beings to be human beings
100%.
and not mainstream schooling?
100%. I mean, I wish my mom knew about Montessori when I was little. I feel like mainstream school is for some. Yes, it works for some kids, but I don't think that it allows kids to be kids, first of all. And they want to put you in one box. You have to speak so many languages. You have to know math.
Mm.
You have to take science. You have to do this. And if I look at some of the kids that I taught, and quite frankly, my sister's oldest daughter, she has been diagnosed with dyscalculia. So it's dyslexia in numbers.
Okay.
So, and just seeing the past 2 years, how much she's struggled and the pressure that they put on this little girl because she it's part of school. You
Yeah.
can't just leave it. And it's so unfair because, she might not do well in math, but everything else is great. She's excelling in everything else. And she's creative. She can draw like an adult, and she's only 10. She can make things. I mean, the one time it's hilarious. Like, she loves horses. And when that hobby horsing, the hobby
Yeah.
horse, when that came out, she made her own hobby horse, like from a stick with paper, glue. She drew, and it was exactly like she made the mane from cotton wool or from wool. I mean, it looked like a proper hobby horse, and she made that from scratch on her own. Nobody helped her. She just wanted her parents to go and buy the supplies, and she did that.
And she did it.
She did it. She takes singing lessons. She she sings amazing. She is a drama queen. I guess most girls are, but she's super creative. And I wish that the schools can take that and push them into what they're good at. Yes, teach them language.
Sure.
We need that. Teach them math, but not Pythagoras. I mean, who is still using Pythagoras except if you're an engineer? And teach them how to budget, teach them how to save, teach them how to do taxes. Those are important. Those are the important things. I mean, I had proper math, and I don't know how to do tax returns. I don't know how to do invoicing because I was never taught.
Mm.
So it's putting unnecessary pressure on these poor kids having to do something that they're not good at, instead of teaching them life skills and then pushing them and utilizing their passions and their talents and growing from that. That's when you have your entrepreneurs. That's when people are going to excel in their jobs. And I read a quote the one time that it said something about train or practice something that you're mediocre, you're going to be average for the rest of your life. Train something that you are good at and you will excel. And it's so true.
That's true.
And I wish they could open up more primary schools and universities. I mean, universities, it's a little bit better, but you know that use the Montessori method. Don't let kids, if they don't want to sit at a desk, don't let them sit at a desk. Let them lie down. I mean, it's not going to affect their brain. It might actually be better for them.
A few sentences back, you said something to the effect of being an entrepreneur, and mainstream schooling, in a way, almost kind of seems selfish because it teaches you about you and
Yes.
what do I need to do to excel in this world
Yeah.
personally. And I will do it at all cost.
Yes.
Yes, with some ethics and morals, of course. And then you step into Montessori, and then they go, think out of the box. How can I give back to the world
Yes.
and be the game changer?
Yeah.
So be the change.
That you want to see in the
Yeah.
world.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And it teaches you to take care of the environment, to take care of others. And that is, like you said, the mainstream schools don't do that. They don't teach you to be part of the world. They teach you to, you know,
Be a doctor for yourself.
be a doctor for yourself. You need to make money. The more money, the better. The more money, the more things you can buy. And I just feel like it is so wrong. That's when things go south, and yeah, the Montessori, I must say, we have the practical life area. And there you were taught to clean. You were taught to, give plants water. Why do we have to look after the earth? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to be a kinder person? Teaching kids how to speak to somebody, to greet somebody when they enter the room. Um, so I definitely think there is a need for more
Mm.
schools to use that method. It doesn't have to be entirely Montessori, but I think that that should be the way the schooling goes, for sure, for sure.
Food for thought, isn't it? Food for thought.
Yeah.
And then we fast forward a little bit, and Anishka decides, well, I don't know if you decide that teaching is not for you, but you then step into the fitness world and listening to your background of gymnastics from early childhood, no better fitness than CrossFit, right?
Of course.
Did you did you feel that that transition was because teaching in some way stopped you from becoming the adult you want to be, and that coaching then suddenly allowed you to extend a bit more? Was teaching kind of stifling you personally? Not that you
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It just meant personally that it kind of wasn't what you wanted to do at that point.
Yeah. Look, I think it was very rewarding. Um, and I still, like, I mean, I miss it. I look at Caleb, he's in a Montessori school, and I do miss it. I do miss the kids, and, but for me is I, and maybe it's part of, the ADHD trait. I mean, having to go in different directions and, sticking to one thing for a little bit and then bouncing to the other thing. So, I mean, it's always been, I think the three things were kids, fitness, and people. Yes, people and fitness. And teaching. I think teaching is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And I just got to a point where I was just so exhausted. I didn't have the capacity to teach anymore. Um, and as much as I still loved it, I didn't love it in a sense of, I was dreading going to work, burnt out, and I enjoy my freedom. So having to be stuck in one place for like 8 hours, I think that also kind of put me off. And when this coaching opportunity came up in 2024, I I knew that it was time to change. And also it was HYROX. So I love CrossFit, love doing CrossFit, hate coaching. Too technical for my brain. Don't have the patience to and slide up, down to your hips and up. So I don't have the patience to teach the technique. I mean, I would if I have to, I would do it. But when we did HYROX at the gym, I fell in love with it. Like we did it in 2023, and every Friday was a HYROX Friday. And nobody knew what it was, but loved it. I mean, long workouts, cardio, not a lot of technique, functional. Um, and I enjoy workouts like that. I enjoy where you suffer and you suffer for long and you have to push through that mental strength where you feel like you can't go, then that little engine kicks in and something turns and then you just go. And then when the opportunity came to coach, I was like, this is interesting. I love this. I love coaching. I love working with people. And as much as, working with people still drains you, it doesn't drain you as much as working with kids.
Mm.
Coached and just fell in love with it. Absolutely fell in love with it. The people, the vibes. I also feel like it's not as intense as CrossFit. So the people, because I'm, chatty, vibrant, silly. I want it to be fun. And HYROX allowed you to have fun because it wasn't technical. People weren't so serious. I mean, you get your people that want to compete and stuff, but the people were a little bit more like relaxed.
Mhm.
And it was just my vibe. So yeah.
And it's quite strange because ADHD and sitting at school as a teacher or as a pupil for 8 hours straight is not the ideal surroundings for a person with ADHD. And one would think that CrossFit would be right down your alley
Yes.
because it's quick, it's 20 minutes.
All
We only need your attention span for
right.
for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you got HYROX and that comes in and that's a longer burn session.
Yes.
Stay focused for longer and it demands that sort of attention. Um, what did you think that suddenly this coaching now HYROX, which is a longer duration
Yeah.
exercise, then ignited in you? What was so different suddenly? Because now it's
So
long, right?
yeah, the attention span's not always like 100% there during the 40 minutes of coaching, but it's it's taught me a lot to kind of teach myself to come back to the present and not wander off. And I mean, I have good days, I have bad days. Some days I mess people's names up. Sometimes I don't know what's happening on the board, but hey, it's part of the community. But I I think because I love it so much and I know the mental strength it takes. Look, CrossFit's also mentally very challenging, but having to push yourself for a longer period of time and your body literally feels like it can't go anymore. Um, it does help with the mental strength, and I think I enjoy helping people get mentally stronger.
Mm.
That is one of my big focuses, like in my community, is to not only teach them to be physically strong, but it's gonna suck some days. It's going to be hard, and sometimes you're not gonna want to do it, but those are the days that make you mentally stronger. And I think people don't realize that one until they in fitness and they see how their mental health changes in a good way and how it helps with their everyday lives. And with so many, mental health issues, it's vital. And having gone through it, I think maybe I enjoy coaching it because I know the benefits that it's given me mentally. And yeah, and also I enjoy doing a lot and the variety, and I also make it fun. I make it a lot of fun, and well, I think so. My people don't think so. The sweat and the few tears,
The-
complaints, but yeah, I think the people also help me get through it. So the more people in my class, the better my attention span. Funny enough, if I have one person, oh goodness, bless your soul.
so,
It's yeah. Then it's fun because then I'm like, oh, and then I'm back, and yeah. So then it's a lot harder. So I feed off people's energy, and the more people,
you beat me to it. I was going to say you actually feed off people's energy and
Yeah.
but then the transition from teaching to coaching. I mean, did you ever feel like you were starting from scratch? I mean, were you afraid that geez, now I've got to start this whole process again of trying to build something, build a career for myself, build something within myself.
yeah,
Did it feel like that at any point, or was it a simple transition?
it was easy, but also not easy. Easy in a way of I adapted quickly, and it was something new, something exciting, something different, and I like a challenge. I like a challenge, and the difficult part was having to transition from teaching to coaching. And I mean, I've done sport my whole life, but having to, learn how to speak to the people, be confident enough to speak to people. So I can speak to children.
Yeah.
I have no fear speaking in front of children. It's speaking in front of adults. What are they going to think? Am I a good coach? What am I missing? And having to learn to not only just make it fun, but you have to look at the technique. You have to know what movement goes with what is beneficial. And it was more of having to go deeper into exercise, learning the different energy systems that you use, the biomechanics. So I think that was the harder part. And as the year progressed, you get more confident and you get to know people and they get to know you, and it became easier. And like anything else, if you practice and you practice and you practice, you're going to get better. But there's always things that you can learn, and you're not going to always be great at, you're not going to know everything and going to be great at everything. But it's been an amazing journey. And I think now, having to have started from scratch twice, um, I think I actually thought about it last week, is that if I had to do it again, it's okay.
You'll do it again.
I can do it again. I've done it many times. And if I have to ever do it again, I know that I'm capable of it.
Mm.
Where I think I have doubted myself in that. And I think a lot of people are scared to start from scratch, and they think, yes, it might not work. It might work. But once you do it, you become stronger and you become wiser, and you learn to trust yourself more, and you get to know yourself. And I think that was the beautiful part of having to start from scratch, especially last year. I think last year was a big change in my life, good and bad, but yeah.
You went from coaching to opening your own gym, Vertex Fitness.
Yeah.
Would you mind if we talk a bit about last year?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I know a few days ago we spoke about how alone you felt.
Yeah.
Um, what happened? Why? Why did you feel alone?
Sure. Um, so I think I like starting, or let's go back to 2024. I think I reached a point of burnout, and I didn't realize it. And you have the symptoms, and you're tired and you're emotional, and but it's nothing new. But you kind of like say, I have to show up. I have to do this. I can't let people down, and you push yourself, and that's where the lack of boundaries, um, kind of got to me. And I decided end of 2024 that I wanted to pursue my own gym. And my parents, for a few years now, they said, why don't you open up your own gym? And I just said, no, I don't think I can do it. I don't have the finances for it. I don't want to coach CrossFit. That was now before HYROX became a thing. I didn't want to do CrossFit. There were a lot of CrossFit boxes. Um, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do it. And then coaching HYROX in 2024, having to start the HYROX up from nothing, and learning a lot, um, under the coach back then, and you know having him say, there, you build it. And I had to build it and put in the hours, learn, and in end of 2024, I thought, you know what, I want to do it and I want to do it for me. I want to do something for me. And my parents were like, if you're keen, we will give you the finances. Let's do this. And the fact that they showed so much confidence in me really meant a lot, especially my stepdad, since he's super business orientated and he's wise. And the fact that he was willing to take that chance and trust me to be able to do this meant a lot. And so that's where Vertex started. And, we found a beautiful venue. Um, and during Jan 2025, we obviously got everything together. We ordered all the equipment, super exciting. And we opened on the 1st of February. And that is when the downhill came. So within 2 weeks from opening, I had completely broken down. My body had shut down completely. I had very bad anxiety. I had panic attacks literally like 24/7. Um, I was depressed. I felt detached from everything and everyone. I actually, to a point, thought I had MS because I would literally just stand up and my body would start shaking and literally like uncontrollably shaking. And that would also happen about 8 to 10 times a day. And it was really bad. Like my body just said no more. And I was in a very difficult place because I had to make the decision. Do I push through and try and figure it out while running a business, while being a mother, while being a wife? Or am I going to stand up for myself for once in my life and do the hard thing, close the gym and get booked in and sort it out? And so this was not the first time that I've struggled with anxiety. I've had it my whole life. And I've had many episodes where it would last for 3 years. And I just said, I can't. I won't make it. I won't make it. And I had to tell my parents that I have to close the gym. I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to sort it out now. Otherwise, I won't be here. I won't be here. And it wasn't easy. They weren't happy. I mean, I had new clients that signed up. It was a new gym, and I closed down and got booked in. Stayed in hospital for 3 weeks. Um, Learned a lot. It got better. Anxiety wise, it got manageable again. Felt I could, get back into things. And up to today, every single client that I had before I went in are still with me today. They were super understanding, and I believe that was God's will. That was God's grace over my business, over my life. And during that whole time, I had no doubt that the gym would be okay. I knew that it was going to be okay. Although people said that it was a disaster and it would be damage control and don't know if it will ever get back to what it should be. Um, it it managed to thrive, and it's only truly by the grace of God. And I eventually came out and then went back to work, but still couldn't train. I would be exhausted, having to sleep most of the day. Then I also started studying. So I had to study, I had to run her business, I had to do social media, I have to still be a mom, still be a wife. And throughout the year, I lost a lot of people, a lot of people. Um, and looking back now, I believe that it is a blessing. And, some people are in your life for a season, and, you know, they're not meant to be there forever. Some are, some will maybe come back eventually. But it was, I think, being removed from my previous environment, now having to come here, start up, then this whole thing happened, and then only having your family and maybe one or two friends that stuck through. And yeah, so that made it super lonely, and having to go through the mental issues and the physical issues. And I couldn't speak about it to anybody because I can't go coach and be a mess in front of my clients. And I would go home and just cry and struggle by myself. And Josh, my husband, has been amazing. Like, he was my rock through all of that. And yeah, it's definitely better. It's not great every day, but physically it's getting better, and I'm able to train a bit more. And I think that was one of the hardest parts, was not being able to train, because it's been part of my life, and it's how I deal with mental issues. And I couldn't train. I would train and I would be man down for a week, where I would be anxious, depressed. Um, my body would start, you know, going into that, wanting to go into that anxiety state and that panic state. And um, seeing multiple doctors and nobody can tell me what is happening. Um, Going for x-rays, for blood tests, everything is normal, everything's fine, nobody's got answers. And I can feel that I'm not okay. And that also made it super lonely, because nobody believes you, and when I go to the doctor, I'll be fine. It's what happens when you're not at a doctor at 12 o'clock at night, when your body is just fighting against you and you're getting a panic attack and your heart rate spikes, and, you know, all of that stuff, where you can't immediately go to the doctor and you can't be like, okay, now look. And they are so focused on what they can see, nobody's willing to listen and dig deeper. And it was just, I think, it was just so, the symptoms were just so physical that I didn't want to believe that it could only be mental, the mental issues. Um, but yeah, it's possible. I think unless you go through it, you won't understand how mentally it can destroy you. It can destroy your body. And I just feel like people don't talk about it enough. People don't feel confident in saying, like, listen, V, I'm having a panic attack. I feel like I'm dying. I need, I just need you to be here. Because people are like, just breathe. Just breathe. Why are you so stressed about things? Just let it go. Cool. If I knew how to let it go, I probably would have done it 20 years ago. And it's super frustrating to deal with this and not have the support, and people not understanding. I think it's maybe just a lack of understanding, because, you know, being anxious. Everybody's anxious. Everybody's anxious, Anushka.
Mm.
Just deal with it. Stop being weak. Stop being so sensitive. And it's more than that. When you're in that state, you cannot control it. You can't think positive. You don't have the energy to think positive. And it's, I think if people just, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but if people just go through it themselves, they would have a little bit more understanding and a little bit more sympathy. Um, so, yeah, I think it's difficult. It's hard.
It is. You mentioned you suffered from anxiety 3 years pre Feb 2024, but in Feb kind of 2024 moving forward. Was it at that point that you realized that I actually need help, that I need to time out, I need to take some time off? Was that at that point, or did you know in that 3 years that something's not good?
Yeah, so prior to, I think it was 2014, at the end of 2014, I kind of had the same thing. It wasn't as physical, so the physical symptoms weren't as hectic, but it was the panic disorder, anxiety, depression, um, to a point where I couldn't drive myself. My mom had to drive me around because I would be so scared to have a panic attack and crash the car. I would be scared to leave the house. I couldn't walk from here to you without having a panic attack and being out of breath and feeling like I'm going to die. And I tried to figure it out without medicine. I didn't want to believe that I needed something to help me. So I did everything. I went for therapy. I went for what's it?
See,
Cognitive behavioral
mm,
therapy. Um, I prayed about it. Being a woman of faith, like prayed about it. I got baptized. I tried everything. I repented. I seeked help from friends. I tried every natural possible way. And I think it was just after Josh and I got married in 2017. Um, I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it on my own anymore. And back then it was okay because I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. I was on and off with jobs, and I just finished studying my Montessori, and I had my Joshi. But other than that, I didn't have any big responsibilities. So I was able to, you know, not come out of my room if I didn't want to the day. I was able to not have to work, and it was possible to try and figure it out on my own. And I remember the one day we were doing a course in church, and the pastor said, that sometimes God gives people to help. And that kind of opened my eyes and be like, okay, I've tried everything. Maybe it's okay to go and seek help and go on something that will help me. And it was the best thing I could have done. And I wish I didn't wait 3 years. But obviously, back then, you young, you
don't
want to
know.
try and figure it out on your own. You think that it's something you did, or it's something you can figure out. It's going to be okay. And then 3 years down the line, you still at the exact same spot as you were,
Mm.
in the beginning. And so it got better. Anxiety got under control. I would have some seasons during the year where it would be up and down, but nothing major. And then everything was going well, and it just hit me out of the blue last year. It was literally like the one day I was fine, the next day I was not And yeah, I think the turning point for me was when I looked at Caleb, my little boy, and felt so disconnected. There was nothing. There was nothing. And for the first time in years, I was petrified. I was petrified of falling into that hole and not being able to get out. And I I didn't want to have that feeling looking at him, and I was numb, empty. And I didn't want to do that for 3 years. I I didn't want to, and I couldn't, because I have to take care of him. It's my responsibility, and he doesn't deserve that. He
Sure.
doesn't deserve not being looked after and not feeling loved because I'm not able to give anything anymore. And I think if it wasn't for him, I would have probably tried to sort it out myself. Um, but I couldn't do that to him. And I went to see my GP, and she actually like recommended, to be booked in. And a few days after that, we decided, okay, cool, this is what I need to do. And I did it. And it was definitely the right choice to do. And I learned a lot. And it was a good break from, you know, not having to take care of everyone. For the first time in a very long time, I could just take care of me. And as hard as it was being away from them, it was so nice. It was so nice just to not have to worry. Just, yeah, it was just so nice not having to worry about everyone else. So, yeah, it was a good thing.
Opening Vertex Fitness. Was this a business idea or was this a healing one for you? Because you've mentioned two words. You said it was an opportunity to build. And is it to build a new gym? Is it to build a new Anishka? Is it to build people? And then you mentioned trust. And you said your stepdad, had the trust in you
Yeah.
to invest all this money in, well, not just him, but your mom included. Do you think this gym was part of the healing process? Was a healing thing more than an actual business idea or business plan?
100%. 100%. Sorry. I might
Okay.
have a few tears, but I think it was a little bit of everything. Um, it was definitely to heal myself and to prove to myself that I'm worth it and I'm able, you know, and having gone through a lot of things where nothing I ever did was good enough. And, you would work so hard and, oh, sorry, you just missed it. You just didn't make it. And I think the fact that my stepdad showed confidence in me kind of boosted my own confidence in a sense where he saw something that at the time I didn't see. And I think after going through so many things, where you feel like you give your everything and it's just never good enough. It's just never good enough. And I was so sick and tired of that. I was tired of, you know, being in environments where you would do anything for anyone, and it's not the same. It's not like they don't give it back. They don't show the same. And I actually like the whole Vertex logo, and the whole idea behind the name Vertex was having somebody on their journey meeting us, and we are building up and connecting. And from there, we build it up together. And I wanted to create a safe space for anyone, and I mean anyone, to come, whether you've trained your whole life or whether you've never trained at all, to come into the space and feel safe, feel loved, um, feel like they belong, like they are seen, and that their journey matters. Everyone matters. And in a world where everybody's just there to look after themselves, I wanted to create a space where no matter the noise of the outside, having the business and your family and everything happening, and you get here and it's you. And you are good enough. Whether you can squat or not, it doesn't matter. You are part of a community, and it is a beautiful community where people encourage one another. We laugh together, we joke, it's fun, it's vibrant, it's happy. And that they come in and they are so scared because it's very intimidating. The workouts are intimidating, and it's like, oh my word, I can't do this. And they look at it, and after the session, they're like, I did it. I did it. And how you see people fall in love with fitness and wanting to be healthy and wanting to come and train. And over the past year, we have grown into a little family. And it's helped me, and it's helped them. And it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. I want people to be confident in themselves. I want people to be strong physically, mentally, emotionally. And I just feel like, having gone through last year, being so lonely and having to build myself back up again on my own, I want to create something where people might be in a position where I was, or might be in the greatest space of their life, but they have a community to lean on.
To lean on. Absolutely.
And Vertex is it's more than fitness. It's more than that. And I know everybody says that, and everybody has their little community and their family, but for me, it's not actually about the training.
I want to say joining a gym, it's not a gym, it's more of a community initiative.
Yes.
It's the feeling or the wanting to be included in something.
Yeah.
That you matter.
Yes.
That you matter. And I've often said, join these CrossFit boxes or HYROX boxes or whatever you want to call them. Because it's not the guy who finishes first that's cheered on.
Yeah.
Well done for you, buddy. We know you're a machine.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's the last person who's going through internal turmoil, who feels overweight, who doesn't feel loved, who's going through a breakup. It's that person that gets cheered on.
Yes.
That gets clapped on, and you somehow feel, I belong here.
Yeah.
For a change. Right?
Yes.
And that's what it's done for me personally.
Yeah.
And Um, wow, that was very insightful. Very insightful. Um, and I mean, do you consider yourself more spiritual or more religious? And I want to say, in hindsight, has this in a way brought you closer to God?
Yes. 100% yes. Look, it's not always perfect. Like we just said, I wander off and it comes and it goes. But I definitely learned to rely on God more because there was nothing else I could do. I've tried everything. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's I found strength when I literally had nothing. And I was never, I think during the whole, like, especially the 3 weeks of being booked in, I had the motivation, even though I was super anxious, depressed, I had the motivation to want to figure this out. And I mean, I met a few people in there that has been there for 3 or 4 times. And I just said, no, like, I'm here and I'm going to do the best I can, take in everything and sort it out. And I would wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And all I would do is just like, I would just start praying. And eventually I would wake up and open my Bible app, read the Bible, pray, journal, and then I would be able to fall asleep again. And I got, I think I learned a little bit more about relying on God and trusting Him and knowing that there was a purpose. And I didn't know what it was. And I didn't know if it was going to be okay, if I would get out again and the business would completely fail. Um, but during it all, I just I had hope. And I think that is the one thing that us as Christians or anybody who believes in a higher power have that other people might not have is hope. That you know that it's going to be okay. You don't know how, you don't know when, but it's going to be okay because He says it's going to be okay. And He's a God that sticks to His promises. And He's brought me through 33 years, 34 years. And I've been through seasons like this in my life. And every time I just came out a little bit stronger. And looking back, it was divine protection.
Mm.
Because I think my life could have headed into worse things if those breakdowns didn't happen. And with this, I believed it was the exact same thing. I believed, and this is just what I felt, was that this was so needed so that I could be broken down, completely broken down, and having to rebuild not just the company from scratch, but myself from scratch. And learning to be patient, to put other people's needs in front of my own. Not in a bad way, not like, having to go back
Sure.
into burnout. But when I train, I can get quite obsessed, and I train hard, and everything kind of like surrounds training. And I think the fact that I couldn't train made me take a step back, focus on my business, focus on helping other people um, reach their goals and motivate them, and having the time to focus on other people instead of me. Because I think when it comes to training, I think I do become a bit selfish, and it's a problem. It's a problem. But I think it comes back to that hyperfixation, and you want to do something and you want to do it the best you can.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it definitely made me take a step back and slow things down and not overwhelm myself with a lot of things, because I didn't have the energy for a lot of things, and pick the things that were actually important and focus on them. So I do think that there was a purpose behind it. And I do believe there's a future purpose for it. Maybe the focus of Vertex extending to helping people that are physically not able to do high intensity exercises, but rather have that person that can guide them and help them with rehab and mobility and movement. And within that, having someone to motivate you on the days where you have no motivation, somebody that you can reach out to, saying like, I need help today. I need support. And, you know, having that support and not being so lonely. So, yeah, it's maybe future possibilities.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your life sounds like a movie. We could absolutely make a movie about your life.
Funny.
And if if it was, and you were sitting in the cinema right now watching this movie, and it's that scene where you know that there's the murderer under the bed. Please don't look under the bed. But they will look under the bed. Please don't open the closet door. I promise you the killer's
He's in
in the
there.
column.
He's in there.
What would you be screaming at your character right now not to do? At that one moment it had to freeze, and what would you be shouting at the screen that do not do that?
Yo. Uh, Stop worrying.
Hmm.
Stop worrying. Yeah, just as easy as it sounds, but just yeah, maybe tell myself to stop overthinking things. Stop worrying about the future. Stop worrying about the things you cannot control. I think that's it. Let go of what you cannot control, because it doesn't add any time
Um,
to your life.
doesn't.
Nothing.
And 90% of the time, these things are out of your control.
Yeah,
So whether you choose to worry or not, it's going to happen.
gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
And there's no point in wasting energy and time on something that you can't control and can't change.
And back to fitness again, The workout is the workout.
Yeah.
So stop worrying about the workout and get through the workout,
Yes.
as opposed to, oh dear, I still have 100 more burpees to do, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Well, standing there worrying
Uh,
about it, it's not going
it's
to
not
get you.
gonna live. You still have to do the burpees.
Better get going.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like I tell my people, small steps at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out. You will figure out, but you have to start. You have to start and just go for it. And the rest will figure it out itself.
When they walk into Vertex, what do you want people to feel?
I want them to feel at home. I want them to feel like they belong and that no matter where they are in their lives, their journey matters. And to stop comparing themselves to other people. Easier said than done, but so what if you can't run like the next person? That is okay. The fact that you are just here is already 100% more than somebody who's just chilling on the couch and doing nothing. And it's not always going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And I want them to want to come back. Like, I want them to crave that community and craving the fun and yes, the workouts. The workouts, ugh, it's not. One thing they don't know though, the worse the workouts are, the more fun I have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think some people think they look at me like I'm a witch. But I always tell people I laugh at you with very good intentions.
Of course you do.
Just because I know how it feels to be there.
Of course you do.
But yeah, so I mean it with all the love. But yeah, I want them to see that as their home away from home.
Is this the support you kind of wish you had? That you could walk into a safe space just for an hour a day?
Yeah. I mean, I've had it, a few times in life. Um, and it might not be their space forever.
Mhm.
Um, it might be their space forever. But I think I do wish that, and maybe it's not even the space, maybe it's just myself, but I wish I had or have a space that you could totally be yourself, no judgment. You are loved for who you are and no expectations. Like, no pressure, no expectations. Just you can be you. And it's difficult to find. It's difficult. Yes, you have your, you have it, or people, maybe somebody's still looking for it. But I think it's hard to get to a space where you can be yourself 100%. I think I think we all do that. Is that you not always gonna, and I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. You're not always going to show 100% yourself. But I want to create a space where people can feel like, they can be as close as possible to that. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, looking back, I did have it at a time. And I think it makes stepping away from it just so much harder. Um, and I think still kind of healing from that and yearning for that. But now I think vertex for not only my clients but for myself, I think that is the space that is needed right now.
You've been totally open and honest, and thank you. Who do you hope hears this conversation? Who do you think needs to hear this conversation?
Sure. I think anybody that's going through a tough time, I think especially mentally, to hear that, that they're not alone and that it's okay to talk about it. I think sometimes it's frowned upon and, some people look at you and they're like, oh my word, you're a mess and you need to get your life together, man. But people that need to hear that it's okay to feel this way and it's okay not to have everything together and it's okay to not be okay. And even though it's messy and it's sore and it's raw and it's, the worst thing that you can imagine right now is that it's going to be okay. And these seasons they don't last. But one thing that I know is that you get out stronger. And it's a good place to learn, to get to know yourself, to let go of the things that are weighing you down and just transform and change and, build yourself from there. It's okay to hit rock bottom and having to build up. It's not a bad place to be. Rock bottom is not a bad place to be. You can only go up from there. And yeah, I think those are the people that I think need to hear this. Yeah.
Annie, thank you so much. Thank you for accepting the invite. I think we should absolutely do another episode. I think we need to. There's a lot more that needs to be spoken about.
I like to talk, you know that. If anybody knows me, they know I like to talk.
It's like when?
Tell me.
When? Thanks again for your honesty. Thank you for trusting the space. Thank you for trusting me. And most of all, thanks for your courage to sit here and speak about yourself so openly and honestly. I appreciate it, and I'm sure those listening will absolutely appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for even considering having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I'm thankful and grateful that I can speak about it and just let people know that they're not alone and it's okay. And it's a lot of us out there. It's okay to be messy.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Annie. Before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Conversations like this are exactly why this podcast exists. It's real stories, real perspectives, and an honest dialogue. If you enjoyed this episode with Annie, please take a moment to subscribe, rate the podcast, and share it with someone you think would appreciate the conversation. You can also follow us on social media for clips, behind-the-scenes moments, and updates on upcoming guests. Your support really helps this platform grow and allows us to have meaningful conversations like this one. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.